Our Around the World segment tonight. Don't look now, but Democrats are becoming the party of anti-Semitism. From kicking out marchers at a gay pride parade because they carried an Israeli rainbow flag, to the movement for Black Lives accusing Israel of genocide, anti-Semitism is becoming a force within progressive politics. With me now to expose this, from the Center for Security Policy, Alex VanNess. Alex, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Liz.
All right, Alex, one of these stories we covered on the show last week, but then we gathered a lot more examples, many more examples of this same thread of anti-Semitism that seems to be creeping into progressive politics here. So let me start with this Dyke March. That's what the title of the march was, the Dyke March in Chicago. They ejected some marchers, some gay Jewish marchers who were carrying the rainbow pride flag that had the Star of David on it, and they said that that star made other marchers feel unsafe.
Yes, this is a common anti-Israel theme throughout progressive politics. They call it pink washing. They claim that Israel highlights their pro-gay views in order to hide the idea that they're treating the Palestinians poorly and trying to hide their humanitarian crimes, which is just in general a farce.
Right.
It's just another anti-Israel ploy and piece of rhetoric that goes around.
Well, it's a silly argument anyway, especially when the reverse is true. These pro-Palestinian, the organizers of this particular march said that they were pro-Palestinian and anti-Zionist, yet they also claim to stand up for gay rights, which seems to me to be very logically inconsistent because Israel is the only nation within the Middle East where gay people actually have rights. Many of these other Middle Eastern countries, if you're gay, you can be sentenced to death for that.
Yes. Tel Aviv holds one of the largest gay pride celebrations in the world, let alone just the Middle East. And just if you go 10 to 15 kilometers south into Gaza, you'll be killed if you wanted to try and march in a gay pride parade. So
right. It's absolutely shocking. So that's one segment. Then another example here is the Women's March. I mean, we had the Pride marches, the LGBT marches. Then we also have the Women's March. The organizers, both of the organizers actually, Linda Sarsour and Razmea O'Day, I mean, they're very anti-Israel. Linda Sarsour says that there's no place in feminism for people who support Zionism or Israel. You can't get much blunter than that. Yet liberals, the entire Democratic Party, has accepted the Women's March as their own, as part of the progressive platform.
Yeah, Linda Sarsour has a long history of anti-Semitic barbs. She regularly attacks Zionism. She equates it to racism with the old statement, Zionism is racism, which was pushed in the UN several decades ago. This is a large amount of anti-Semitic and anti-Israel rhetoric. And she has a long history of not only just supporting anti-Zionist rhetoric, she's associated with individuals who are pro-Hezbollah. She's been a speaker at the organization Al-Auda, which is co-founded by a gentleman who is an open Hezbollah supporter. And she has raised funds for them. And she has been on Twitter joking about the lack of Jewish historical presence in Israel, in Judea and Samaria. She equates Zionism to racism. She also she takes a very staunch like pro-Sharia stance.
Right. Yeah, her tweet that said that Sharia was reasonable here. I don't know what part of Sharia she's talking about that's reasonable, but certainly nothing in regards to gay people or women, who she claims here in the United States to stand up for. And then the other organizer, Razmea O'Day, she killed 2 Israeli students. That's all we have to say about that. It doesn't even require discussion. She killed 2 Israelis. You can't pretend to be pro-Israel. You can't pretend you're not anti-Israel if you murder 2 Israelis here. Last one, Alex, before we go here. This is the movement for Black Lives accused Israel of genocide.
Well, this is a part of what the progressive left have been doing for over a decade. They've been doing what's known as intersectionality, where they interconnect various movements, whether it's the Dakota Access Pipeline or gay rights or Black Lives Matter, you'll always see someone carrying a Palestinian flag and trying to pretend as if the Palestinians' cause equates in some way, shape, or form to these other causes, and it's a way of just soliciting supporters for these from these causes. And we saw this at work last year when Black Lives Matter came out with a platform that was openly anti-Israel.
Right, right. And intersectionality really is just, I guess, their clever rhetorical trick to expose the truth that they're not really about that which they pretend to march about. They're really just about progressive politics, which encompasses identity politics and now apparently anti-Semitism. Alex, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it, and happy Independence Day.